Just thinking of the dualities that we often play in with love and fear, with light and dark. And I know the tantric principle of integration of the two is, championed as the way forward. And yet I really want to make sense of that for myself. How does it work to love in the dark? How can we play in the unknown? How can we face fear and pain and hurt and integrate all these things and love life? That's really important to me, because I do definitely stand for play and light and awareness and connection and love. But I'm really feeling the power of the fear. I'm really feeling how we don't always have a choice to live in love, when at some point we need to gasp our last breath or claw the face of a predator. At that stage, that overrides. The fear is so powerful. It is at, sure, more a lower vibration, a solid level, but that is life. That is the brick wall. That is the thing, the knife. That is the truth of this physical universe, the atoms colliding. There is a density about that, and so therefore fear can take hold and does override love, and it is powerful. I know that love can sublimate fear, help it evaporate into a higher vibration, but we want to live this expanse in the physical world while being beings of light. And that just clicked a piece, because I love to take these esoteric concepts and land it in some sort of practical application. I thought, yeah, how cool would it be to play in the dark, to be exhilarated by the, oh my god, this is terrible, like all the things that I really want to avoid, the things I fear. What happens if I had a really systematic way of mapping my life, charting all of the people I'm attached to, all of the projects, all of the problems, all of the promises, all of the things which are in my orbit all the time, which have these lines of charge, because I'm either addicted to them or I'm repelling away from it. It's either a phobia away from or a philia towards. And just go, cool, I'm going to experience it. I'm going to survive through the death that I'm trying to avoid by eating all these foods, because I'm avoiding the pain of being hungry or the discomfort of saying my truth. I'm going to go and have the uncomfortable conversations, whatever it is. And in doing so, I allow my life, my pulse, my love to permeate the darkness. Because these areas of fear, these areas we're avoiding, they don't have our presence. It's just so unknown. All the things we judge of the other, I would never, blah, blah, blah. And we are judging, we are hating that thing on the other side of the fence, but it's because it doesn't have our life in it. When we step over the fence, we allow our awareness, our experience to go in there, and then our personality and our connection and our understanding and our empathy resides in that other place. And what a weird task, what a counterintuitive thing to experience all the things that you hate. Surely that can't be fun. But I do believe that the beingness, the identity, the assumption of the role of a pilgrim or a journeyman, maybe a warrior or a no one, a nobody, that Zen space of nothingness, can be a really useful way of bringing pleasure to the pain. I know that when I have cold showers, I'm in New Zealand, it's coming out of winter now, but I've been having cold showers throughout winter, literally just a garden hose in the hills in near Piha Beach. It's cold. It's legit cold. I love it. Not because the sensation immediately when I'm there at night or in the first thing in the morning having a cold shower is pleasurable. Traditional interpretations of those signals will say it's painful. But maybe it's ego, but I'm happy, I'm proud that I am doing an initiation, because my beingness, my identity, is the fact that I'm someone who wants to take myself through these rites of passages. And so there is actually pleasure in the pain. And actually physiologically, very quickly, it actually turns to a pleasurable sensation, because the body opens, I connect to my nervous system, and I feel I'm outside in the cold, and actually there is no retraction from the temperature. So it does actually turn into pleasure, but it is through my wanting to experience the thing I'm trying to avoid, through having my consciousness and my love and my presence reside in the unknown, I suddenly understand it. And that's, I think, how to play in the dark. Hopefully that's useful, hopefully it's practical, hopefully it's not just a philosophical musing. Love to hear the things that you are personally detached from or avoiding. Feel free to put in the comments, or take this moment if you're watching live, a few of you are. Just meditate for a moment on which people you're constantly thinking about or have an imposition in your life, which problems or situations just seem like insurmountable or impossible, what is capturing your life force, or which comforts do you continually put into place to avoid a certain discomfort. Maybe it's the type of food, maybe it's a nice woolen jumper, maybe it's always turning on the heat, and maybe it's not having conversation, not looking at a social media post which is about some social injustice. Whatever the things are that we are continually avoiding, I believe those things are our masters. They are usurping and claiming so much of our energy and our mental attention, even if we're constantly blocking them out. Where are they blocking out to? I think it's like they're taking an apartment in the apartment block of our mind. They are capturing a room in the house of our home. But when we open that door, we step into the darkness, we sit there in the discomfort, we breathe, we smell the pungent stench. And all of a sudden our song fills that room. Maybe our opening of the eyes turns on the light. So make that list, map your life, chart the avoidant of the unknown waters, and then gently, with much kindness and forgiveness on a gradient, dip a toe in. And I believe that what we are experiencing, we come into a wisdom with. When we understand in a wise, embodied sense, I believe we can become a source of something. We can then recreate it on our own, from our own authorship point. And what we can create, I believe we can have and receive. And what a wonderful life it is to feel, not necessarily a joyous love all the time, but a deep connection with the dark and the light, the pain and the pleasure, an ability to hold. And it's only when we can hold can we be present with. As a parent, if your child is sick and they're at the doctor's and they're going to get an injection, or they're just simply being disquieted by the fact that they have to be inspected, can we hold presence? Can we hold them on our lap? Can we be with our crying child? It's extremely uncomfortable, as I, as a father, know. It's harrowing to witness your toddler in tears and calling out and clinging to you. But I would never leave. I would never walk out and leave him there in the doctors alone. So don't do it to ourselves. Because there is a part of us, our curiosity, which is exploring these things. Our mind is already going into the horrible, into the abhorrent. And not just ourselves or our minds, but our species, there are many of us who are in deep, deep, rich darkness. So let's expand our presence of awareness to face these things. So we can be that parent to hold space, to be present, regardless of how much our child or our friend or someone in our species is writhing in the terror of what they're experiencing. Let's not turn a blind eye. And the only way to build that capacity on a practical level, not just philosophic, but on a practical level, is to go through that process of reaching our threshold and releasing across it. To have the cold shower, to do the fasting, to go outside and travel areas without using money, to sleep outside, to do these things which are on a primal level, on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, are at the bottom. Our basic survival, I believe, that embodiment needs to be applied to the basic survival of this body. And only then can my powerful instinctual fear start to be placated. Because otherwise I am at the beck and call of my instinct. When it kicks up and says, you're going to starve, you're going to die if you don't do this thing, it will override the love. I will be puppeted by fear because it is powerful, but it makes sense that it's powerful because on this physical world, it's at a density that engages, it has a friction point, it has traction with a knife, with a gun, with a fist. And our world is ruled by the power of the fist. World.